Okay, everybody, I think we're going to get started. Good afternoon. I'm Rebecca Gold, the chair of Global Connections of Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West, New Jersey. It is my privilege to welcome you to our Greater Metro West Global Connections virtual Hanukkah celebration. And I want to welcome Governor Murphy and Mrs. Murphy. Thank you so much for being here. We are thrilled and honored that you could join us. For today's program, you will all be muted, and we will unmute you at the end if you'd like to schmooze a bit. So don't try to unmute yourselves, you can't, but we will have time at the end to speak to one another. The Peoplehood program is Global Connections' most successful Living Bridge program, and we thank our Peoplehood alumni for giving us the opportunity to gather as one global Greater Metro West family with our friends from Cherkasy, Ukraine, our friends and partners from Israel, and our Federation family here in New Jersey.
We're honored that Governor Murphy and First Lady Tammy Murphy are joining us for this special program. Our governor has been a steadfast friend of the Jewish community and of Israel during both good times and bad. Governor Murphy, we're thankful for your tremendous work during the pandemic. We're deeply grateful for all your efforts in keeping New Jersey one of the safest states in the Union. Last year, in the aftermath of the devastating terror attack on the kosher grocery store in Jersey City, Governor Murphy stood in solidarity with the Jewish community, denouncing the shooting and the anti-Semitism from which it stemmed. As a result, the governor expanded the definition of domestic terrorism and signed 2 bills to provide funding to secure nonprofit organizations at risk of terror attacks. He has consistently stood with us, listened to our community, and reached out to hear our concerns and priorities. The governor's pre-pandemic budgets included substantial funding for Holocaust survivors and an appropriation of more than $11 million in security funds for New Jersey's non-public schools. We're proud that Governor Murphy reinstated the New Jersey Israel Commission, hiring a professional staff person to foster trade, business, and cultural exchanges between Israel and the state of New Jersey. And of course, it was a unique pleasure to have the Governor and Mrs. Murphy join our community mission in Jerusalem 2 years ago. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome Governor and Mrs. Murphy and invite them to share a few words with us now. Thank you.
David, thank you. We are incredibly honored to be with you. And I know I speak on behalf of Tammy. This is an honor, and it's also an emotional moment to reconnect. You've put some incredible pictures up there. Roman Kent, a dear friend of ours, with whom we connected first when we lived in Germany, and I served as the U.S. ambassador there. Obviously, our jointly timed trip to Israel a couple of years ago. It's hard to believe it's that long ago, October of 18, which is incredible. And by the way, we're particularly thrilled that this is not just Metro West. It's not just an important holiday for our Jewish brothers and sisters in New Jersey, but for all of New Jersey. And by the way, our brothers and sisters around the world. And that leads me to say how cool it is. And I think how important it is that we have friends from Israel and Ukraine on with us. I want to give Rebecca a huge shout out because that global connections element of Metro West is a game changer. And the fact that we're coming together virtually with folks from around the world is pretty cool. I mentioned our time in Germany. We've actually lived there twice, but in particular in our time serving our country, not surprisingly in Berlin, we became deeply engaged with the Jewish community generally, but also the representation of the state of Israel that they became among our best friends. And if you know the Jewish community in Germany, you'll know that it exploded after the wall came down. And a big reason was migration from places east, and that included Ukraine. And so it's, again, for us in particular, it's a pretty special moment. Dove looked great. I just want to say Dove looks great. I know we couldn't hear him. He's back. He's back. He's back, Dove. It is good to have him back. But I tell you, David, to you as the president, to Rebecca, who oversees and chairs the Global Connections, to Dove, who was a dear friend of ours, and now for many years, I saw Linda Scherzer on there earlier. There are a lot of Metro West friends of ours. I was thinking, we only have a few words each of us, but I was thinking, what's the one person who got it most poignantly about light versus darkness and the whole meaning of the struggle and the triumph of Hanukkah? And I always come back to Anne Frank, the blessed gal whose life was lost. And she said something like, look at how a single candle can both defy and define the darkness. And I've always, that's always stuck with me. I just want to say that we have, and Metro West is as good an example as any there is in this state. We have, I think, the second largest per capita Jewish population in the United States of any American state. And we have, I think, the fourth largest population overall. And the federations that bind those communities together do extraordinary work. David, you're very gracious toward the steps that we took, whether it was security or other budgetary actions, but we could not do any of that alone. We need strong partners, and there is no stronger than Metro West. So light over darkness. This has been a year none of us will forget, and there's unfortunately plenty of darkness to go around, and we're still in the thick of it. And my guess is it's still going to be bad for the next couple of months as it relates to the pandemic. And sadly, anti-Semitism hasn't gone away. Hatred hasn't gone away. But like every year, even though it may be a bigger struggle this year than most years, light does win out over darkness. And we will stand with you today and forever and always. And I promise you, we will never waver. So Chag Sameach, happy Hanukkah. With that, please help me welcome the First Lady of the great state of New Jersey, Tammy Murphy.
Like so many traditions this year, we are finding both new ways to celebrate and new meaning in customs and rituals we have come to take for granted. This Hanukkah, the miracle of the oil, sufficient only for one night, yet lasting for 8, speaks to me of the enduring spirit of New Jerseyans across our state. This year, in the face of tragedy and hardship, we've seen an outpouring of support, of service, and absolutely of generosity. Although we are wary of pandemic fatigue, New Jerseyans continue to pull together, wearing their masks, keeping their 6 feet of social distance, and doing all that is truly necessary and within their power to keep themselves and others around them safe. Our healthcare professionals, our essential workers, our clergy members, teachers, and so many others have drawn strength and stamina beyond what could ever have been expected of any of them. So although our traditions may look a little different this year, our adapted celebrations only bring us more meaning and hope for joyful reunions soon to come. We wish you and your families a very happy, healthy, and safe Hanukkah. Chag Sameach.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Governor Murphy, First Lady Tammy Murphy. We're so pleased that you were both able to join us today at this meaningful celebration, and so grateful for your support in our mission of caring for people in need, building a vibrant community, and saving the world, one person at a time, every day. It's now my pleasure to introduce Liana Pesina from Chilcassie.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy and very honored to be here as a representative of the Jewish community of Cherkasy, Ukraine. And usually for Hanukkah, every year we have pre-Hanukkah Shabbaton here in Cherkasy. And we were gathering together with the whole community and welcoming our Madruchim from Israel. And we used to say that Madruchim who are coming from Metro West are like Shamash, who are bringing light and split this light to the community. And like a Hanukkah miracle, this light stays in the community not 1 month, but through the 8 months till we start our family summer camp. And this year we didn't have this opportunity to gather together, but in the community we did the virtual shamash forwarding to each other from one house to another to see the family lighting the Hanukkiyot. And today we are forwarding the blue shamash because blue is a common color for the national flags of all our countries in America, Israel, and Ukraine. And we do it as a symbol of such a great unity, no matter the distance, no matter what happens. And we do believe in miracle, and we know that the light breaks the darkness, as it usually happens in our history and in our Jewish tradition. And from the whole community of Cherkasy, we wish everyone happy Hanukkah, Hag Hanukkah Sameach, and let the miracle start. Thank you. And now, Han Cohen from Israel.
Hi everyone, my name is Han Cohen. I'm from Moshav Gilat in Merchavim, and I'm very excited and happy to be here with you. I participate in Peoplehood number 5. I guess some of you or all of you got my recipe for Moroccan donuts or sphinge, and I would like to share with you a few interesting facts about sphinge and about North African tradition during Hanukkah. So first of all, and this is the most amazing fact that I just found out during my research, is that sphinge is not Moroccan. It's actually from Tunisia, from the island of Jerba in Tunisia. And that is amazing. I guess some of the Moroccans here probably will be very, very shocked to hear that, but it's actually Tunisian. It's basically, it's fried dough that we eat with sugar or with sugar syrup. And like all other foods during Hanukkah, and this is, I think, the most traditional thing in the North African tradition in Hanukkah is to eat fried things. We take advantage of this tradition, and every day we eat sometimes fricassee, brick, everything that is fried and full of oil. Another interesting thing, it's also that during Hanukkah, it's Rosh Chodesh Tevet, and this is a holiday called Eid al-Banat, the holiday of the girls, to symbolize the story of the female heroes of Hanukkah, the daughter of Matityahu, that actually, by the story, is that she was the one who made the mered, I forgot the word, if someone can help me.
Rebellion.
Yeah, rebellion. She started the rebellion. So this is also something that North African communities, Jewish North African communities, celebrate during Hanukkah just gathering all the women in the family gather together and just celebrate the female. Another just quick story about Hanukkah. I guess everyone gets Dmei Hanukkah during this holiday. Just my story is that we are Chamsa Chamsa, very big family. My grandparents have around more than 30 grandchildren. And my grandfather, when we were little, stood everyone in huge line and walked by one. Every child gave us, I guess it was like 5 shekels, not something very large, but he blessed every one of us with the full blessing of מי שברך את אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, הוא יברך, and said our names and gave us all the blessing. It took, I think, like more than an hour, but we all stood in that line, got our 5 shekels and my grandfather blessing. And this is one of my, the biggest memories I have from Hanukkah. So you probably want to know how we're gonna, after you saw the recipe of the dough itself, how I made it. So we're gonna see now how it turned out. So the syrup, I moved it to a lower heat, and we're gonna let it simmer for about 5 minutes. And we're gonna start to fry the donuts. So I have here a bowl with the oil, because we have to work with oiled hands. If not, it will stick to our hands. So what we're doing, we're taking small ball from the dough, something like ping pong ball, and we're gonna make a hole like a donut. It looks small, but don't forget it fries inside the oil. And we're gonna drop it in very hot oil. It doesn't have to be symmetric. It's freestyle. Once it's browned, we're gonna flip it. It's very important to flip it just once. Once it's browned on both sides, we can just take it out and let it cool and eat it with plain sugar, just regular sugar, or we can dip it inside the syrup. If we decide to do the syrup, we need to do it from the frying pan inside the syrup. Just few seconds inside the syrup, and we take it out. I hope this video will inspire you to try this recipe during this holiday or any other day. We probably, every event is an excuse to do this recipe. And now I'm honored to move to Avi Babiloni and his family for a special candle lighting. Thank you.
Hi, hello everyone. Greetings from Israel. Happy Hanukkah to all. My name is Avi Babiloni, and it's good to see so many faces from all around the world, especially from our friends in Cherkasy. Good to see you guys. My family and I are honored to light the Hanukkah candles with you all today. And I know that you are all muted, but I would like to echo your amen all over to Arad. So please, let's begin. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר חנוכה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלכנו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. אמן. מעוז צור ישועתי לך נאה לשבח. תיכון בתפילתי ושם תודה נזבח. לך תכין מטבח מצרם נבח. אז אגמור בשיר מזמור חנוכת המזבח. אז אגמור בשיר מזמור חנוכת המזבח. חג שמח to everyone. Happy holidays.
My name is Lisa Naturman, and I am a member of the Peoplehood Alumni Committee, and I have also had the pleasure of participating in the first Peoplehood cohort in 2009. Thank you all so much for joining us to celebrate Hanukkah together, light the candles in Israel, and share a new recipe to add to our Hanukkah menu. We are committed to building meaningful connections, living bridges between our Jewish community and our partners in Israel and around the world. Our next event is session 2 of our Unpacking Israel series on January 6th. And we are excited to announce that cookbook author Adina Sussman will be joining us along with the greetings from our partner community of Horfesh in the Upper Galilee. The Jewish Federation of North America is launching a matching campaign to raise over $54 million to increase our efforts. Every new and additional dollar donated to the 2021 UJA annual campaign by December 31st will be matched by 50%. That means that an increase of $1,000 becomes $1,500. We invite our Peoplehood alumni to join the Peoplehood Lounge. You will automatically be placed in a breakout lounge with your cohorts. All other guests are invited to unmute and stay and chat with others. Chag Sameach.